Imagine walking into a restaurant and ordering your favorite meal, then a vegan comes in and starts screaming at you and calling you a murderer. How would you react? Would you be confused? Would you be angry? What if I told you that you probably agree with them? More and more people are saying that vegan activism has gotten too aggressive. We've got vegans screaming in supermarkets, screaming in restaurants, calling people murderers, animal abusers and scum and all these sorts of insults.
Excuse me, have you got some respect? I asked her to excuse me.
I want to get past here.
You can go round, madam.
No, I'm not going round. You move. Well, I'll just knock you out of the way with my trolley then.
Now, I'm vegan and I agree. I'm not clickbaiting you here. I'm not being sarcastic or anything. I think that things have gotten quite aggressive, and I agree with some of the criticisms that people are putting forward. But a lot of people think that this aggressive activism has no place in civilized society. But are they right? And why do activists do this anyway? Well, it's not because of the lack of B12 making them crazy, as some people might have you believe. And it's also not because of some kind of mental health issues that they're having. It's because these activists believe that what's happening to animals is so extreme that the response should be as extreme. And the truth is, most people actually agree with that. Actually, the most aggressive behavior I have ever seen has been in response to animal abuse. A silly woman takes a baby wombat from their mum and the world goes crazy. She got thousands of threatening messages, viral posts and viral videos everywhere of everyone coming after this woman. Feels like the entire world either wants her in jail or beaten. Remember that famous footballer who kicked his cat? Within hours of this happening, people were gunning for him. They wanted his head on a platter. Many people, again, were calling for him to have a severe beating. The Yulin Dog Meat Festival, a festival of eating poor, tortured dogs. This has inspired some of the most brutal and aggressive responses I've ever seen online, with people going into minute detail about what they would like to do to these people who are doing those horrible things to dogs. When it comes to animal abuse, most people are in favor of an extreme reaction, except when it comes to vegans. See, when vegans protest, most people seem to be against that. Why is that? Some people might say, well, you know, dogs and cows are different. Cows are bred to be used for food and dogs are bred for companionship, so it's just not the same. And this is true, can't argue with that. But then when a video comes out of a farmer kicking and punching a baby cow, people tend to react the same way that they would if they saw someone kicking and punching a dog. People feel bad for the animal regardless of what they were bred for. So then why are they so against vegan activism that defends those animals? I think it comes down to two things. One, misconceptions about veganism, and two, the activist message. People think veganism is just a diet, so when vegans protest, it seems a bit weird. Like, why are you protesting for a diet? It's like someone screaming at you for not eating keto. They think vegans are just trying to force their dietary preferences on the public and take away their rights, but because you don't like the way I eat, it makes you feel bad, grow up and get a job. But veganism isn't actually a diet. It's a stance against abusing animals that includes diet. There is no one vegan diet. You could eat Coca-Cola and fries every day, or you could eat a healthy, balanced, nutritious, plant-based diet. There's many ways to do it. Being a vegan just means that you're committing to avoiding funding or taking part in anything that harms, abuses, or kills animals. And unfortunately, every way that we use animals for food, clothing, medicine, and everything else that we do with them abuses and is cruel to animals, which is why vegans avoid all of these things. See, a protest against animal abuse makes a lot more sense than a protest for a diet, right? And the second and probably more important reason that people don't like vegan activism is the activists' message. We've already established that some vegan protesters will call members of the public murderers, animal abusers, and evil, and things like this. Anyone who hears that while trying to grab a quiet lunch is probably not going to be best pleased. And why would they? I mean, that's understandable. And it's true that in general, calling people names is not a good way to convince them to listen to what you have to say. It's more likely just to make people resent you. A friend of mine who's also vegan recently said it's like a therapist screaming at their patients to try and make them change. And if that worked, every therapist in the world would be doing it. The goal shouldn't be to make people feel bad. It should be to make people realize that they actually agree with us and make change. But all that being said, when somebody does abuse an animal, like a footballer with the cat or this wombat lady, most of the public actually get behind this aggressive, insulting behavior right away. So what's the difference? Well, we're all against doing something as stupid and cruel as kicking a cat or separating a baby wombat from their mum. So because we all agree on that, we all gang up together and take pride in being one of the good guys. But when a vegan comes along and points out that actually you might be one of the bad guys, that doesn't feel good. And as it happens, actually, you be one of the many, many bad guys. In our world, the bad guys have all the power, make all the rules. The government makes violating and killing animals in farms and slaughterhouses legal. Supermarkets stock wide varieties of meat, including meat from baby animals like lamb and veal. Our food system is dominated by meat, dairy, and eggs. And factory farming isn't just legal, it's the norm. That's where most animal products come from. These disease-ridden hellholes where animals spend their entire lives in darkness or fake light, never stepping foot on grass and never seeing the sun. Oh, and remember that baby wombat taken from their mum? Dairy farmers separate baby cows from their mothers within hours of birth, leaving the baby alone and looking for their mum and leaving the mother crying and whining for her baby. And that's perfectly legal. Actually, that's how most dairy farms do it in the entire world. But if a vegan points this out, albeit in an aggressive manner, the public turns on the vegan instead of turning on the people who do this. Because how dare a vegan point out the animal abuse that most people support instead of the animal abuse that most people don't support? So here's my question for you. Is defending animals only okay when it's popular and easy? If you believe animals deserve protection, especially when it's unpopular, start by taking animals off your plate. And if you don't know where to start, I've linked a free starter pack down below that'll give you access to recipes, nutritional advice, and access to people who are volunteering and just ready to help you start helping animals.